they put in a lot of consideration in terms of deciding which wall should actually be load bearing, so that they want to give the audience the flexibility in terms of expanding and creating spaces that suit their needs better.
So quantum wise, I think it will definitely be very, very palatable, and I would say that if the price is right, it's a good project to enter into.
And then will people actually prefer Continuum? And do you all think this will exceed 53% on the launch day?
Of course, natural window ventilation. We will know that the chance of having more is lesser, because if you do open your...
Bring a
you can
fan
always
in.
find
Just bring a fan in. Blow it.
Or you can use those
Buy a Dyson fan.
those fan and just... Okay, anyway. You have to pay a premium to enjoy the void space that comes along with this penthouse unit. This entire project...
Something that's very interesting is that on this particular step, which is step number 1, that's the drop-off point, you have a gym plus. So we're gonna head in. Let's go.
Mission control, we have liftoff.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about Continuum. Welcome to join us back on our new launch Banter series. Today I have George and Rong. So let's take it away. And I think at this point of filming, something of course has happened. Of course, I think what we want to explore is the relationship between the launches that was happening back then. That was Tembusu Grand. Of course, let's have a quick look at the performance of Tembusu Grand. I think it was done very well, 53%. What do you think about this?
I think for Tembusu Grand, a lot of people... I don't think this is the maximum potential. Because
Okay.
I think a lot of buyers, they are looking at the D15 area. I think past few years, there's been a shortage of big scale projects. A lot of boutique developers brought up. But then I think what a lot of people are doing is they kind of want to wait for Continuum, for the pricing to be released on the day. And then after that, they might potentially come back to Tembusu.
Right, so 53% of units launch... no, sorry. I mean, 53% of the units that was sold on the launch weekend, which actually for one weekend is considered fantastic performance. I think there was like a pent-up demand for D15 new launch, and this, of course, is being launched by CDL. CDL has been a hot favorite in terms of a developer's choice, in terms of their quality and product over the years. Let's have a look at the performance in terms of the bedroom types.
types.
Yeah, so if we see, I think top performers naturally 2 beders because of quantum play, 2 plus study, 72%, which is I think great as well in terms of results. Then I think the surprising thing to note is that of course the 3 plus study and the 4 beta, they were both being sold less than 20%. What do you think attributed to that portion, Rong?
I think generally it's because of like the overall quantum, and at that same quantum, maybe the buyer pool might also want to consider Continuum, which is also like a freehold property, because the quantum can be quite near for this kind of sizes.
Right.
So like they might think, oh, maybe freehold could be something that is better for me. So that's why. But of course, for the smaller bedroom type one, then you see more in terms of like the quantum difference between Tembusu Grand and Continuum.
Right. Quick disclaimer is that all the information that we have, a lot of them are at discretion of developers, sole discretion to change nearing to launch. And of course, developers reserves all rights to change in terms of pricing and things like that. And a lot of the information has been graciously supplied to us as we partner with different agencies to bring content to our audience. So I heard that one day before Tembusu Grand was launched, Continuum also sort of released a little bit about the indicative pricing. And of course, if we look at the date for preview, is that Continuum preview date is now 2nd May. Am I right?
21st April to 2nd May.
21st April to 2nd May, which the booking day will be on 6th May. So if we just look at these two starting from pricing, and most of the time when you look at this kind of so-called like release in terms of the rough estimate pricing, 2 things that we need to note. This is subject to change on the launch day, because sometimes if the amount of show up at the show flat is huge, right, then the developers can raise prices along the way. Secondly is that usually these are the lowest price per category. So it is starting from. But based on this, in terms of PSF level, very clear cut Continuum freehold, Tembusu Grand 99 years, $200 to $300 price difference. But let's talk a little bit about the quantum, because to me, it seems that they are very close in terms of quantum price. What do you think, Rong?
I think in terms of quantum pricing, the 3 beta will be very interesting, because you can think of like for like a similar quantum, you can get into a freehold property. Of course, that is of course that there is a size difference where Tembusu's Grand 3-bedder is slightly bigger at 990 square feet, starting compared to the 3 bedrooms from Continuum. Overall, I will also say that if we are looking at from a 4-bedroom Continuum comparison to the 4-bedder in the Tembusu Grand, right, they are also very, very close. That is also generally because of the sizing difference in the Continuum area. So, I mean, like if I just looking from a quantum play, of course I will be attracted, you know, like because of freehold, and I think it's very strategic from the developer to actually release this kind of information just, you know, like before the booking day for Tembusu Grand. Right. And of course, the other thing to note is because Continuum, actually we have like 2 different types. One is the Signature series, one is the Prestige series.
Yep.
So Prestige series, what's the difference is you actually come with private lift, and then per block, your number of units is lesser as well. They also get to enjoy slightly better views compared to Signature ones. So generally, the pricing that we're looking at will be for those Signature series kind under Continuum.
Right, fantastic. So very keen to look at the floor plan differences between these 2 developments because I think this is also a little bit like a strategic move because freehold products naturally in terms of overall quantum, it will be higher if we go by a per square foot comparison. For example, freehold 2006, 99 is 2003. If you were to build the same size, naturally you will have a higher quantum. So I think what Continuum has sort of designed their 4-bedder is at 1270 square feet. If we are not talking about the Prestige collection, we're talking about the Signature series, which is the I would say the normal series. And based on these 2 floor plans, if we put them side by side, this is starting from, you have the left side Continuum 3.2, right side Tembusu 3.288. And if we were to go back,
because the Continuum one is actually 1270 square footage for the 4-bedroom,
Yep.
and for Tembusu, it is actually 1432 square feet.
what are some of the key differences that we can help our audience to look at? One is 1432 on the left side, Tembusu Grand. Right side, Continuum 1270 square feet. Come share with us your insights.
Okay, so here, of course, there is a 4-bed, 2-bath for the Continuum.
Yes.
Of course, we are discounting the WC at the toilet area. Yeah, so actually you have 1 lesser bathroom.
And Continuum, the 4th bedroom.
Continuum,
right?
you have 2 common bath and 1 junior master, right? Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill.
Okay.
But the 4th bedroom can only put in a single size bed, whereas for Tembusu Grand, the 4th bedroom you can put in a queen size bed.
Right. And both have home shelter.
Yep.
Both have yacht. Both have WC at the yacht. Both
Wet
have
and dry kitchen.
balcony, 1 balcony each.
I would say that in terms of the wall-to-wall distance for the living dining space, of course, that is actually narrower as compared to the one at Tembusu Grand as well. Even though both are what we call like the portrait kind of living dining space.
Yep.
Right. So bedroom 4, there's a difference. Short of 1 bathroom, and that will essentially shave off close to about 150 square feet. And that 150 square feet technically created the difference of the quantum price. So 150 square feet, if we multiply by $2,600 per square foot, that essentially will shave off close to about
390K.
$390,000, which I think is a strategic move because they want to make sure that the freehold 4-bedders will not be priced out, right? Okay.
Yep.
So let's come back to maybe a more grand kind of view. Maybe Rong, bring us through some of this research that you have prepped.
Okay,
And give us a brief about the Continuum.
maybe let's start with the location first. So we are in the same District 15 as well as Tembusu Grand. So it is located actually about 860 meters to Dakota MRT station. It's about like 980 meters to Paya Lebar side.
Right.
So we are in this plot where, okay, of course, why is it freehold? It's because this is not a government land sale. And it is actually, land is actually bought through M Block in November 2021. And who does this land belong to? Actually, it belongs to the Wee family. Over here, we have 25 of these houses, and it's separated by Thiam Siew Avenue. Right, so even Thiam Siew, because this reason, the Wee family, right, actually, it all started from Mr. Wee Thiam Siew, who is a hoteler back then. And they managed to sell this together as one parcel. And for the developer, right, when you have these two plots together, it adds up to about 260,000 square footage in sizing. So in the District 15 area, it's very interesting because you seldom see this kind of huge land plot for like a freehold property. So out of the 47 new launches that we have in this year,
Right.
okay, actually there are 24 freehold land plots. But out of these 23, they are all less than 300 unit kind of project sizes.
Correct.
And this is the only one that has about 816 units overall. That's why I think like it's going to create a lot of hype and attraction overall.
Right. George, what do you think about the project? What's the key USP of Continuum?
I think the size, the location, it is, I would say, quite walking distance to the MRT station. And I think the price point, right, will be very close to the 99 years. And I think what the developer has done is that they kind of anticipate this move already. That there is another competing plot. I think they want to create this kind of confusion for buyers to say that, you know, why don't you consider my freehold unit? And I just need to make some tweaks in terms of the overall floor plan.
Right. Right.
And also other unique stuff about Continuum is, of course, this is a non-PPVC kind of project. So what it means is that like there are more flexibility in terms of how you want to modify the layout. There are more walls that are non-load bearing that you can actually knock down and combine to have flexibility to expand your living room, combine bedrooms, etc. And of course for Continuum, it's like it's a unique kind of project in the sense that like it's like a fractional twin. Okay, fractional twin in the sense that it is almost like you are buying two condos, because this is, I think, one of the first time that I've seen like a project is actually being divided by Thiam Siew Avenue, which is a road that they're going to expand.
Okay.
And why I say fractional twins is because on both sides, okay, so both land plots, you all belong to Continuum, but you have your own entrances, you have your own basement parking, and you have your own set of facilities. So meaning in the northern zone and the southern zone, you each have your own gym, your pool area. However, it is not an exact replica. Hence, it's like a fractional twin. So like a twin.
Right.
But you can still cross over via a bridge to the other section and enjoy like some differences in terms of your playground, your lap pool, etc. Even the function room is slightly different.
It's
So
like
how many bridges are there?
One.
Right.
7-meter width.
Do you think there'll be a congestion? Which level is the bridge located at?
I think it should be about level 2. I think it's pretty safe. Oh bro, you don't need to cross the road.
And on top of it, there's still a link bridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
between the blocks.
Okay, great. I mean, the facade looks great. There's like a small little bungalow here. What is this? Talk about this.
So this is actually one of the conserved houses that they didn't tear down. So in the northern region, they call it the Thiam Siew house. So that acts as part of the function room. And in the southern side, you also have your own clubhouse, but that is called the Social South.
Right.
And that is something like a more modern twist to it.
Okay, so there's a roof garden, there's a sky club, there's a
Yeah.
roof bar. There's 2 gyms, one in the north zone, north gym room, one in the south gym room. And
the gym is located at the roof terrace area, the sky deck.
Yep.
On like both sides. And the interesting part is, of course, you can see from the side map, right? So on the right hand side of the northern zone, there is the Prestige Tower. On the left hand side of the southern zone, there is also the Prestige Tower. So the Prestige Tower, actually, you do not have the facilities on the sky deck. So the sky deck is actually located for the Signature series. So that also gives you a little bit more privacy towards the Prestige kind of towers as well.
George, can you share with our audience a little bit about the PPVC kind of requirement for our audience who is the first time exploring new launches? Share with them the differences between PPVC and government land sales in terms of knockable walls. And why is there this requirement?
So if you take a look at Tembusu Grand, if you see all the walls, they are all thick and bold walls, which also means that they cannot be hacked down. If you have the strength to hack down, then it's quite impressive lah. So all these are actually government land sale, whereas for on-block sites, usually on-block sites, they do not have this particular requirement. So I think what the developer will do is then, they have certain other areas that are the load-bearing walls, and then of course the rest will then be walls that you can hack down. Also means that it gives you more flexibility. Nowadays a lot of people like to combine the bedrooms and expand the space. So yeah.
So I think
that's a difference.
there's also a reason why, of course, we are trending towards PPVC, because that is actually in a sense like more efficient in terms of construction,
Right.
because it is, think of it like a Lego brick. Right, so you have your own segment that is created offsite, and then you transport them, and then you set it up together, so that can actually improve the efficiency of construction. That's why there's this PPVC method. But I think for the Continuum's developer, Hoi Hup and Sunway, what they do is actually they put in a lot of consideration in terms of deciding which wall should actually be load bearing, so that they want to give the audience the flexibility in terms of expanding and creating spaces that suit their needs better.
Right.
So there's a special focus for the developer of Continuum when they are doing these floor plans.
I understand that both of you have did a little bit of research on the future views. If let's say somebody were to buy Continuum, because I think it's important to know what is in store in future in terms of future government land sales or potential view blockages. So let me go to Google Earth and then let's blast out in terms of what we're going to see in futures. So let's talk a little bit about the site plan, because the Prestige series is located at the top right corner of the north site plan and the bottom left corner of the south site plan. So I think there's always a reason why developers want to place certain kind of layouts at certain directions. Generally speaking, if you look at Continuum, the site plan are north-south directional facing. Yeah, and how do you all see in terms of like the future kind of direction, because there's a couple of the government land sales also popping up nearby. So maybe George bring us through a little bit.
Sure. So if you take a look at the Continuum, right, the Prestige series are either located towards the top right or the bottom left. Top right, why top right? Right, is also because once you cross towards the other side that is separating between Thiam Siew, the plot ratio immediately drops down to a low of 1.4. So which also means that once you're on the higher floor, you will get this unblocked view. Why, right, is also because if you take a look at this floor plan, at this map over here, towards the north and towards the south, they are all high-rise building. Actually, towards the north, that is towards Ipoh Lane, and then towards the south would then be towards Dunman area. So all those are high-rise, which also means that if you want to have pocket views, it is either towards the right-hand side, which is towards the 1.4 plot ratio, or towards on the left-hand side, which is also towards the 1.4 plot ratio, and that is where, you know, the Rose Lane, all those lower rise building are. So naturally, when you want to have unblocked CBD facing, you'll also be exposed to a bit of west sun. So I think, you know, that's kind of the plus points and the fact that you have to accept that there will be west sun. But on the other side, you'll be facing towards the lower rise developments that is along the whole entire Katong belt.
However, that's provided you surpass the Hague Road HDBs, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Roughly how
Correct.
many levels are the HDBs?
I think that one
Should be about 13? About 12, 13?
Yeah, I think 15, yeah, about there.
Okay.
2.8 plot ratio lah.
That means you have to go across maybe about 18 levels. Right. Yeah. There's one plot that I think George, yourself and Yurong brought up about the future government land sales on the west side facing. Where is the exact plot?
So the west
Grand
side
Dunman.
facing, yeah. So, okay, so if you take a look over here, right?
Yeah, where's Grand Dunman?
Grand Dunman is actually this plot. So this one,
Slightly triangular
yeah,
kind of
slightly
plot.
triangular plot. So this is confirmed to be Grand Dunman, but on this side, part of it is actually zoned as a residential. So this entire plot right over here, just towards the right hand side of Geylang River, this is actually zoned as a 3.5 plot ratio residential plot. This part is still zoned as the army zoning.
Right. That means in future it's going to be like 30 over levels.
Very likely, and likely your view will be going until here, then pop, yeah, come to a stop.
It's a great sound effect, by the way.
Yes.
Okay, but actually, in terms of the views, you can see that maybe if we just put out the site plan, right, you can see that actually the developer has pushed the units in terms of the towers to the extreme ends of the site, and that is so that they can have better block-to-block distance between towers to the opposite end, and you actually have the entire landscape and pool that is situated in between. So that also offers all the internal facing units, right, to have more better view, and as well for the prestige units. Let's say for the 5-bedder, they are actually not looking towards the front, they're actually looking towards the right or left, so you can actually see the entire stretch of your facilities as well as the pool view.
Yeah.
And that's how the developer try to maximize in terms of your vantage point for all the different units.
Actually, having this road doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, because most of the developments, right, they are usually separated by landscaping and swimming pool, and then a bit of a walkway path. So this one, right, you have swimming pool, as well as the road. So I think the
setback, the
block to
distance.
block distance is actually very, very good.
How many lane would that road be? Is there an architect briefing on that? Like, is it a one directional?
Currently, right now, it's a bi-directional one-way road. So of
Yeah.
course, we'll need to expand it. So I think it will at least be a bi-directional two-way on each direction.
Right. And my next question is that there's going to be two entrances.
Yes.
All right. So one on the top left.
One is here.
Yes.
One on the right.
Yeah.
And
There's a petrol station.
Petrol station, I think, strategically done in the sense that the closest stack is actually quite far from that. Is there going to be a basement car park?
For both sides, they are
Yes.
actually basement parking.
Are the two basement parking connected?
They are not connected.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, coming back to the petrol station, right? So in terms of the developer, they have also made sure that the entrance is actually creating the setback between the nearest block to the petrol station. There's also going to be like a vertical wall from a visual standpoint that hides away the petrol station from the landscape kind of when you're in the landscape deck of Continuum. So I think these are very, very thoughtful by the developers to take away all the visual negatives.
Right. Let's have a look at the site plan and maybe for our audience locate where's the bin center, where's the substation as well.
Okay, so very interestingly, actually for this project, all this has been taken care of. So all the services like our bin center and our substation, right, they are all hidden nicely actually at the car park already.
At the basement car park?
Yes.
Fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about maybe the bedroom types. Okay, if somebody is looking for, let's say a two-bedder, what are the stack choices that they have and which two-bedder and 2+ study do you think is the best stack?
Okay, I would say that in general, in terms of facing wise, right, there is not a big difference. So if let's say we're talking about the 2-bedroom, they are actually the lighter orange color. So all the 2 bedrooms are actually outward facing. And so I would say generally the most expensive ones will be the ones that have like a slightly kind of pocket view.
Pocket sea view.
Yeah, pocket sea view. So which is 40. What is this?
South facing.
Yeah, these 2 units, 40 and 48.
Are they facing also towards another high rise?
Yes, they are facing towards Dunman Place, Paradise Palms. All those are pretty high rise, so they are all right smack over here. So these are the 3. So Fortune Jade, Paradise Palms, Dunman Place. So these 3 are the high rise. And then of course over here you have Kesta and Dunman View.
What is the highest level for Continuum?
So I think actually the 2-bedder, right, you can actually see across this segment.
Yeah, and then
You have sea view.
they will
pocket. So
probably
if you are
see
high floor
until
enough lah.
here, and then they will pump.
Right.
Yeah, and then they will see Tembusu Grand. Yeah. Hi.
Okay, sorry, let's go back to the distribution. What is the highest level?
17 stories.
The highest level
That's
is
pretty low,
17 story.
17 stories.
It's pretty low.
Okay, I would say generally if you are buying Continuum, I think like the main draw point is not the view. The main draw point is of course
The freehold status.
freehold status. You want something that is
Mega
interesting
Right.
in the sense that like you know, how many projects actually is like a fractional twin kind of project. Of course, we have seen bridges in other projects like Leiden Green, Woodley Residences, but usually it connects to a specific facility zone.
Right.
Yeah, but this is very interesting.
Yeah, you seem to like this a lot.
You like the bridge a lot.
You like the road.
You can own something that there is a story and a talking point when your friends come over.
Yeah. Because everybody will be like asking about the road divider.
Yeah, because actually nowadays you can see that actually projects generally are getting very similar in a sense, you know, like layout is very similar. And the main difference is actually your location. Very seldom we have very, very interesting architecture elements. So I think this is interesting.
Do you think this will be very competitively designed compared to Grand Dunman? Because Grand Dunman is also another huge mega project, and it's just right beside the MRT station.
Grand Dunman 200 meters to Dakota MRT station. Leasehold property is the only project that is exceeding 1,000 units in 2023. But I think it attracts like 2 different kind of audiences. So if they are a more short-term and play kind of investment, like maybe you're thinking of like a 5 years to 7 year kind of holding period, then maybe they will be attracted to Dunman Grand because of probably lower quantum, especially for the higher units. Of course, that really depends on like the unit sizes that will be created for the 3, 4, and 5 bedrooms, if there is, in Grand Dunman. And for people who own Continuum, right, I would say that like they belong to people who have like, they are thinking about like longer holding period. And as well as maybe they are thinking, okay, since District 15 is primarily dominated by a lot of freehold projects, of course we have very, very less choices of bigger projects above 200,000 square footage kind of land size that is freehold.
Right.
So like for people who want legacy planning, inheritance, they want to stay here for a long term, they are concerned of buying into a leasehold in a predominantly freehold location, then they will be attracted to Continuum.
Great insight. How about the school Gonghua? Does all 3 projects, Tembusu,
Yes.
Continuum, and
Yes.
Grand Dunman, all enjoy?
Yeah, so
facilities?
all 3 projects, Tembusu, Grand, Continuum, as well as Grand Dunman, all is within 1 kilometer of Gonghua, which is the best school within 1 kilometer
Yeah,
for
and
this
in
three
fact, I mean, like this has been the key talking point that a lot of parents wants to buy within a kilometers from Gonghua school. I think coming back to Grand Dunman is that this is going to be a project and an ecosystem on its own, because the Dakota crowd is a little bit different from the Tanjong Katong crowd. If you look at the performance of the 2 projects there,
Water Bank at Dakota.
Water Bank, Dakota,
Dakota Residences.
these 2 are the underdogs, because in the past when it was launched, I think a lot of people didn't expect that. Not just did they perform so fantastically in terms of rental, in terms of price quantum gain, they performed fantastically well as well. And I think that mega project, Grand Dunman, if it's going to be launched in July, is going to have a huge advantage, because they now have the liberty to see how Tembusu perform, how Continuum perform, and I think they're going to price it at such a sweet spot that they can win both.
Yeah, and actually for number 1, of course, for Grand Dunman is because they already have location advantage in terms of proximity to MRT station. I mean, like how many land plots you can safely say that is within 300 meter walking distance to MRT station. And the good thing is you're walking towards the MRT station that is underground. So you're not going to be concerned over lots of MRT noise when they are so near. That is usually one of the concerns. And the other thing is I would say that if you are thinking about views, those units that are in Grand Dunman facing towards the landed,
Fantastic.
they're going to enjoy the more unblocked view.
Yes.
And I think that is also the reason why Water Bank at Dakota, as well as Dakota Residences, they are popular in the sense that southern facing units enjoy unblocked view, still near the MRT station and amenities.
So when we were marketing one of the units at Water Bank, it's a large unit, a 4-bedder. It's facing towards the landed, and not just the landed, you can see the sea view as well.
Correct.
It's really beautiful, and the breeze is so huge. Like the amount of wind flow coming in, if you're at the site, the ground floor level, is very, very, very fantastic. Of course, this episode is not talking about let's come back to Continuum.
Let's go back.
Yeah. So let's talk.
Let's fly back.
Let's
fly
fly
the
back.
drone back to
Okay.
Continuum.
So just now we talk about the fact that the 2 bedders.
The 2 bed.
If you can see, I think the 2 plus study, they are all internal facing. Internal facing, I think what George mentioned is that the setback is going to be further, so that's one plus point. You get some pool view.
This one is probably going to be the most
best.
premium,
Yeah.
in the sense that over here you will clear the clubhouse in the northern region, the Thiam Siew house.
Yeah.
And so this actually offers the best kind of view. So this one probably will be at a premium pricing.
How about somebody that's choosing the 3-bed or 3 plus study or 3 plus utility? What do you think are some of the key stacks that you can look at? And the smallest one is at 872 square feet compared to, although we don't
990 for
we don't want to
Tembusu
compare
Grand.
for all, so but it's notable to note that Tembusu Grand 3-bedders are bigger.
Quantum wise, Tembusu.
But
Grand is
the
about
interesting
2
part is even
off.
for like Tembusu Grand, like the 990 square footage one, they actually don't have like a storage area. Yeah, so it's actually quite comparable. So this 872 square feet, even though it is shy of 900 square feet, I would say that this is a very effective layout.
It's amazing.
It is effective in the sense that this is probably a very rare time that you see a dumbbell layout for like a 3-bedroom to minimize the walkway spaces.
Correct.
And then it can go into a more effective usage in terms of spacing. Of course, bedroom 3 is slightly narrower, but you can still fit a queen size bed.
Bedroom
you-
3? No.
And you still have an
Bedroom
enclosed
three.
kitchen.
Bedroom 3.
Yeah, can fit a queen size bed.
Enclosed
Narrow
kitchen.
lah.
Queen size.
Queen size, yeah, queen
You
size
can fit a queen size bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually this is a quite
What?
fascinating layout.
Yeah, and usually for anything that's lesser than 900 square feet, usually what you get is more like a really like an open concept kitchen kind of feel,
Yeah.
where your kitchen is integrated with your dining space. Of course, this is still considered like a open kitchen because it does not have like doors to enclose it or
So
like natural.
semi-enclosed, I would say.
Yeah, or like a natural kind of
Ventilation
ventilation.
window.
However, because it is all tucked at one side, it is as though you still have like an enclosed kitchen
Yeah.
kind of a space where it is not integrated with your living
I
and
mean, you can
dining.
always
So I think
create a
that's
sliding panel lah.
yeah. And the plus
They have
point
a
is that in
storage.
Continuum, they understand the requirement for storage, and so every single unit layout type you have a space for storage.
Oh my.
So I think that is perfect because most of the time, compact 3-bedders, the concern is always where do I store my additional barang-barang?
Yeah, that is great.
And then you need to
That's
think of like
fantastic.
spaces to create
If you take a
additional
look,
carpentry.
right, the bathroom, it doesn't have windows for both of the bathrooms.
Doesn't matter already.
I beg to
nowadays.
differ.
Yes.
That bedroom 3, you all really want to put in a queen size bed.
No, we say we can put in a queen size bed.
Confirm can. Confirm
Confirm
can.
can.
Look at this.
Sure.
Your depth has no issue.
Because you compare this just now, you point out that
is narrow.
the 4-bedder, right?
Yeah.
The bedrooms are different. You look at the 4-bedder.
Mm.
The 4-bedder bedroom, after you put in the single bed, you look at the side table here,
Yep.
is very tight already. But when you come back to
So
this,
you have the depth lah.
okay, technically speaking, you can also still put in a queen size bed in a 4-bedroom. Just that you need to slide the wardrobe when you're on the bed.
yes,
Yeah.
Mm.
yes,
But this one is, of course, it is narrower in the sense that like you don't have that space for you to come out of the bed. So it doesn't matter whether it's a single, super single or queen size. You have the same
you
issue.
don't have this part.
Yes, yeah, don't have this part.
Yeah, it's tight lah. It's tight. Yeah,
So what do you think about not having natural ventilation in the bathroom?
Yeah, what was your
for the
concern?
C1?
What was your
It's not my concern. I think a lot of buyers, they might not. Okay, so first time buyers, they might not be aware on the things to look out for.
Yes.
It's only when they buy and then when they realize it, there is no, like window. Maybe to them, some of them is extremely crucial because some of them just don't like the idea of ventilation fan, the mechanical ventilation fan.
Yes.
I would say it's not a deal breaker because most of
Yeah,
the
it's
1-bedroom
not.
and 2-bedrooms, they are also operating on mechanical ventilation. And if you go to any hotels, they are definitely in
Yeah, I
mechanical
know.
ventilation.
We are
Of course, natural window ventilation. We will know that the chance of having more is lesser because if you do open your,
So
Bring
you
a
can
fan
always
in.
find Hai
Just
Tao.
bring a fan in. Blow
Yeah.
it.
Or you can use those
Buy a Dyson fan.
those fan and just. Okay, anyway. But to be honest, I think 3-bedder 872 square feet right, is something that was hard to imagine last time, and I think is extremely creative for the developer to achieve this kind of floor plan.
yeah. So if you want natural ventilation for the bathroom, you can consider the C2 or the C3 layout. Which means that, okay, the reason why this can actually have natural window ventilation is because they are at the corner units of each tower.
Yes.
So when you're in
Yeah.
the center units, that's the reason why you don't get the natural
Correct.
window ventilation.
Right. Okay. Something to point out.
This is the Prestige series.
If you look at the Prestige, right, the 4-bedders, they actually swap the balcony to plug it at the side.
Yes.
Very interesting. So you sort of like have a
Landscape view.
landscape view, and also you have one more view here. This is a window view.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have like this whole L, which is like 180 degrees view.
Yeah. So
which
this
is
is
great.
to help you to maximize your unblocked view as well as the landscape view for the Prestige series.
Because this is facing either towards the east or towards the west.
And if you just to zoom out a little bit, we are looking at so you can see over here, this portion can be opened up if you prefer to have a bigger living space, right? And then here is actually a load-bearing wall because most of the time people don't combine two
Big
common
rooms.
rooms. If you want to have a mega master room, you can hack this down also to combine that 2 bedrooms. But of course, all the bedrooms are in very, very good size. Here is your master walk-in wardrobe. And then in your master bath, you actually have your his and hers sink as well. And in terms of the dry kitchen over here, and then you have a separate junior master on the other end.
The junior master position is also done quite strategically because if let's say you want to have a bit of privacy and you have folks that comes and stay in and you want to,
Multi-generation living.
yeah, and you want to still have that level of privacy. So I think you can achieve this in a single plate floor plan.
And the nice thing is, of course, they actually have an additional powder room as well.
Right.
So I think that is great for guests. So usually powder room only happens in like landed properties or like like more luxury
Prestigious,
kind
yeah.
of floor plans where you're expecting to like have guests that comes in and you don't want them to use any of your private bathrooms.
Right. Talk a little bit about the tenure. I mean, that time when we were discussing Tembusu Grand, we talked about the 99 years and the fact that D15 has a long heritage and it has a predominant amount of freehold properties. A lot of the boutique projects, freehold, some of the large size ones like One Amber, Estar, Seaview, they're all freeholds. Of course,
Amber Park.
Yeah, Amber Park. Of course, the sea line facing units like Silver Sea, Côte d'Azur, you go all the way down to Bayshore, the Costa del Sol, and of course Seaside Residences, they're all 99, right? So I think our UR master plan is also fantastic. I mean, like Sea Views one, mostly 99s. Of course, there are freehold ones that lie on the seabed as well. But what was our conclusion that time on Tembusu Grand? I mean, we were saying that 99ers will the adoption rate be high, and then will people actually prefer Continuum? And do you all think this will exceed 53% on the launch day?
I think it will be lesser than 50.
And how many units are there?
53.
816 units. 816 units for Continuum.
How about Tembusu?
638
638.
units. Tembusu, I would say like the best point of comparison will be towards Seaside Residences. It's the newest 99-year leasehold property. And Seaside Residences actually has performed quite well overall in terms of profitability. Quite a number of units get like 5% annualized gain. And you can see that like generally 99-year leasehold property, if you can enter at the correct pricing, there will still be room for growth as well. And I think one thing to note is sometimes it's so we do not want to pay attention too much on the starting prices that developer release, because end of the day there will only be one unit that is the lowest price, and they are usually either the second floor unit, for example. And you can see the average transacted price for Tembusu is actually 2465 PSF. So in short, generally if whatever starting price that you see, add another $200, that will generally be the overall average pricing that
Because
is
the starting price is always
transacted.
a low floor.
Yes,
The poorest view.
And actually based on this,
It's true.
okay, actually it depends, because I will say that if you are low floor and you are internal facing, I think it still offers you quite good view, in a sense that, for example, if you are internal facing and seeing the pool, right, actually the best view come from when you are at level 3 to level 6, because
Agree.
anything higher you are actually seeing your neighbor more than seeing the pool.
Yeah.
But of course if you are low floor overlooking a very busy road outside, then of course you might have a lot of noise pollution in that sense, or you are facing substation, or you are facing the drop-off point, etc. Then it might not be so favorable.
Right. If Continuum needs to sell more than 53%, it means that more than 420 units needs to be moved
Yes.
on a singular launch weekend. Do you think a lot of buyers are waiting for Continuum?
Tembusu Grand, I think collected a total of about 800 over checks.
Wow, what happened then?
So I think a lot of people when they put the checks down, I would say maybe quite a majority of them, they are very serious buyer. They just wanted to buy because they are afraid that before Tembusu Grand, the previous launch was Botany, and I think a lot of people, they miss the units at Botany and then they want to move into a new launch before they are getting priced out.
So they are, what I'm saying is that the buyers on the ground, their mindset is they are afraid that as each launch happens throughout 2023,
It will get progressively
you
higher
get
in
progressively high
pricing.
because developers will see the performance of the previous launch by
Correct.
other developers. They might increase a little bit if, let's say, the performance keeps hovering at 40 to 50%.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mean that even some buyers from Botany even can swing all the way from the
Yeah,
west
because they are purely investor.
Right.
So I think they just want to buy into something that is within their affordability and as well as the quantum range before they start to get priced out. Because increasingly for the past few like cycles of new launches, some of the regulations have already changed from TDSR down from 60 to 55% plus the interest rate plus the stress test, and then they are fearing that if they don't enter, they might be priced out. So I think there will be a lot of buyers that will be putting the check in for Continuum and they want to see the price. And then before they make a decision whether they want to go into Continuum or they might even go back to Tembusu.
I think I would say that like if you are looking at the smaller unit type, likely there will be a majority portion that is more investors.
Yeah.
And to investors, maybe they are looking at exit point to sell when it is TOP or like a less than a 5-year holding period. Then I think whether is it a freehold or whether is it a 99 years, it doesn't matter too much for them, because actually when you can pick the correct project, actually we have seen that 99 years project do outperform the freehold counterparts. But that is because a lot of the freehold counterparts, they are sitting on a smaller land size. Right? And the number of transaction and the volume of transaction actually impedes the growth of that freehold development. But of course, Continuum is very different. Like I mentioned, the land size is 260,000 square footage. Quite a big land plot. And I would say that Continuum will actually attract those people who are actually looking out for the 3-bedder and the 4-bedrooms. Because actually for the quantum, like 4-bedder at like Tembusu Grand, so why not go for something that is of a freehold nature?
So once Continuum is being launched in early May, and let's say for example they achieve 50 or maybe 60% sell out, or maybe even 70%, I'm not sure, because it's very hard to get a freehold launch nowadays. So with that being said, what do you think will be the 3-bedroom pricing of Grand Dunman and 4-bedroom quantum pricing of Grand Dunman? Because they still have time to do certain tweaks, right? So what do you think will be the quantum launch price? With these two, we're going to have new graphics popping out in 2 months' time. So what do you think will be the 3-bedroom quantum price for Grand Dunman?
Firstly, I think to give some insights, right, Grand Dunman, the land price was at 1350. So,
highest land pricing.
Yeah, so that is higher than Tembusu Grand, because Tembusu Grand is 1302. So I think the price point, if let's say the appetite is still strong, right, they might just price it a bit similar or slightly higher than Tembusu, just to swing the buyer towards Dunman Grand, because Dunman Grand have a lot of units that they need to clear.
They can average
1,000.
up.
Correct. Yeah.
Actually, for Dunman Grand, what they can do is actually they can build more smaller units. So, for example, you can see in Tembusu Grand Continuum, you see 1-bed plus study as like the smallest unit size. And that's the reason, because in the central zoning in Singapore, for developers nowadays, they have to make sure that the average size is 85 square meters. But because for Grand Dunman, now that you can build more units, you can actually have more allocation towards actually maybe building 1-bedder. And so you can have a little bit more profit margin from the smaller units. And because you have more units that you can build, right, you can actually sort of like spread out your profit margin over more units. In summary, I would say that if Grand Dunman, they launch a 4-bedder, about the same, like, 1250, 1270 kind of square footage, and starting price maybe at like the same 2003 PSF, they can have a very nice quantum play of like 2.9 million for like a 4-bedroom. In Dunman Grand. So I think from a quantum play perspective, for the bigger bedroom unit types, I think that will be interesting.
So they can adjust the balance in PSF for the smaller units, and then of course they can make the bigger units more palatable by having a lower PSF. And I think one strategy that they can probably adopt is to introduce the dual keys, because you have so many units to play around with. I think if there are dual keys, like 2-bed dual key, 3-bed dual key, 4-bed dual key, I think it's going to be very exciting. So we just of course we just research on Lentor Hills Residences. Interestingly, Lentor Hills Residences has 3-bed dual key as well as 4-bed dual key. So I think that's also a very interesting thing that Grand Dunman can have, and that will create a lot more kind of demand, and different entry buyers and different audiences can come into the project at the same time. Any final sharing on Continuum for our audience?
Okay, if it's me, right, and if I know that, right now I already know the price for Tembusu Grand.
You're right.
So if let's say, true enough, the price for Continuum is not too far off, especially say for a 2-bedder or a 3-bedder, then I think it's quite a no-brainer. I'll just go for the queue, especially for Continuum. Of course, in terms of the floor plan configuration, I think over the past few years, we have seen that floor plan actually matters a lot when it comes to the resale market. But quantum-wise, I think it will definitely be very comparable to those at the Amber area, because Amber area, majority of the layouts, they still belong to the previous generation ones with the larger balcony. So quantum wise, I think it will definitely be very, very palatable. And I would say that if the price is right, it's a good project to enter into.
Continuum. Right. Awesome. How about you, Rong?
I would say if you're looking for a freehold property, then do not miss this. Especially if you're looking at the bigger bedroom types. Quantum is very attractive. Like the same one amber kind of series. Reason is because the smaller size in Continuum has make up to like have a similar quantum buying a brand new project versus let's say a 10-year-old kind of project.
Yeah. So like the one number S-Star, it becomes comparable.
Yeah. And something that is interesting is, for example, right, Continuum is good for people who's going to have like long-term holding. Just remember that Amber Park got en bloc again by the same developer that built Amber Park in the first place. And that is the reason why the developer buy back Amber Park to en bloc, is because it is very, very rare to find a freehold land that is above 200,000 square footage in the District 15 area. Because the developer could have also chose the Laguna Park or like Neptune Court, which is 99-year leasehold, to actually en bloc, which also they have like large land size. But I think like there is a strong push factor and a demand attraction factor for like freehold properties in the District 15 region.
Right, especially if it's a huge land size.
Yes.
All right, awesome, great. So we've come to the end of this episode at our new launch Banter series. Stay tuned for our next few episodes, because this year, of course, 2023 is a year of new launches. In totality, about 47 projects will be launched, and we want to cover every single one of them for you to digest. And of course, if you want to speak to our new launch project consultants, click on the link right down below or scan this QR code. That will bring you to our landing page on PropertyLimBrothers.com, and we'll be very happy to sit down with you to chat a little bit more about your property investment journey. So thank you for staying tuned on this episode. My name is Melvin Lim, and we hope to see you on the next one. Take care.
Bye.